Hi, I'm Dave Galat.
I'm MJ Galat, and we're here at Mellon Farm in Winchendon, Mass.
This is a farm that's been in the family for about 32 years. We purchased it because we just happen to love the area, and we've been what we believe is good stewards of this land for that last 32 years.
This land has been filed under Chapter 61, 61A for agriculture and for forestry. Every 10 years we file a new forest management plan to make sure that we are managing this and handling it in a responsible way for ourselves, for our future generations, for our family, and also for the wildlife on the property.
As you can see, I'm not sure if the camera picked up, but we have a number of bluebird houses that we put up for the bluebirds and get other nesting species that come in here. We have boxes for hawks. We encourage all sorts of wildlife in the area. You know, we've got actually a number of turkeys that are here every morning visiting the backyard of the house, raising their young. It's a very nice spot for the wildlife, and we're very secluded, and this is exactly what we've looked for. We've been able to use this land for a lot of recreational purposes. We have sledding and sliding. You can see on the back side of the hill here that we have behind us. It's very widely used by a lot of people throughout.
We also have a cut your own Christmas tree farm, which is also part of our agricultural plan. People have been coming for years and years, bringing their children and even now grandchildren to cut their own Christmas tree every year. Part of the thing that we see as most concerning to us is we also have a pond and a stream on our property, and that water actually feeds the Templeton watershed, and I believe Phillipston too to some part, not exactly sure, but it's going to run right through that water and wetlands in that area, and that concerns us greatly.
Yeah, when we bought this property a number of years ago, we never envisioned anybody trying to come and take our land from us for the purposes that we've kind of just been looking to maintain it as a wildlife area, something that we can hand down to our kids without any encumbrance on it from a gas pipeline going through and ruining the natural beauty of it, making a quarter or scar right across this entire state. And obviously that's going to invite all sorts of traffic coming in and along that right of way that'll be going through there, because people don't recognize the fact that it's still private property. They deem that it's a cut in the land, that it's open to whoever wants to take it, and that's not the case.
And it will have a big detrimental effect to the wildlife on this area in cutting their habitat in places. The big thing that I would like people to know is that really this pipeline is not needed. When you look at what the original scope of this was, it was to lower the energy rates for the New England region. Yet what's happening is that Kinder Morgan is actually just signing up their local distribution companies that are using the gas for home heating. It's not for the electric energy generators, and that's where our energy spikes come from. And unless they're going to address that specifically and have those companies sign up for firm contracts, this pipeline is a farce in meeting its goals. In doing the research, we have found that the real scope of this is to transport this gas throughout the resources that we have here in Massachusetts to actually ship it up to Canada and then across the world. And in following that, once it hits the global marketplace, natural gas prices are just going to soar and do the exact opposite of what this pipeline is supposed to do.
Yeah, they have yet to prove that we have a real major need for it within this area, and there are spikes and stuff like that then in the system that I know they're concerned about, but we have other means that we need to address before we go and take on such a project as this. I mean, we've already made massive contributions, not massive commitments within the state to go the renewable energy route and conservation and such, and we should follow through on that plan before we start blasting a pipeline through, you know, many private property owners who, every one of us, I would have to say, upon this route, this is very special land to us. I mean, we all moved out here to kind of get away from, in many cases, the city life and everything, and it's very, very, very important to us to maintain that atmosphere.
It's also very important to our state and the renewable drive that we're pushing for, also there's a huge new interest in getting back to the land and farming. And a lot of this pipeline goes through farming land and conservation land specifically for agriculture. And I really would like to see our elected officials, state and through the larger entity, really look at that, because we need our farms. We need that land to maintain our way of life. And we need our water. And water is critical. And this is the worst thing that can happen to any water supply, both within the going through the wetlands, but also going through our water supply, which is straight across the state. So one of the things that was really important to us, back in February, we got our first phone call. And we were approached by Kinder Morgan about the pipeline, and we just said, you know, we're really not interested. And on March 8th, I believe it was, he actually showed up at our door and wanted to talk to us about it and wanted us to sign a form giving them rights to come onto our property to survey. It was really kind of ironic because we had most of the family members there, and we were all able to discuss it with him and told him, no way, we don't want any part of this, and we really don't want you coming back. From that, we all started talking and reaching out to other members of our community, and felt it really important that we band together with all the landowners who wish to work with us to see what we could do to stop this.
Yeah, and it kind of went through a whole bunch of cycles, and we started getting more and more community input on it and stuff like that, and getting some support around people that actually weren't even on the pipeline who opposed this as an issue, and they really came along and really, you know, really put their best foot forward and did a great job of trying to, you know, get the rest of the town involved.
It was nice. We had a gentleman who lives down the road from us who is not on the pipeline, but he actually helped us put together maps that we could see where this pipeline may cross our property. It's still up in the air because Kinder Morgan isn't given definitive answers. They're very manipulative in their ways of giving out information. Even when they give it out to you, you don't know if it's true. But with that information, we were able to contact landowners in Winchendon and sent out letters for an initial meeting to talk about what this pipeline is, what it means to us, and what we can do as a community. And it was great. We had the community over at the church on Route 140 that is going to be, basically their parking lot is going to be dissected by this pipeline, and in that parking lot is their geothermal field. So we really felt welcomed, and we put together a whole presentation and had a whole question and answers meeting that really was the kickoff for our group effort, which ended up also including putting together a town referendum to ban the pipeline, which went through and was voted unanimously at a recent town meeting to ban the pipeline in our community. We just want to keep fostering that sense of community and working with all the other landowners. We have a couple of things that we're working on. There is a statewide tag sale that is supposed to be happening in October on the 18th. And we're also trying to do a information session over at the Garden Ale House. We're in talks with Rick Walton over there and hope to put something together for that. It really comes down to all of these communities and the communities that aren't involved working together to make a difference. Kinder Morgan has so much money that they can buy space in every newspaper and on every television place that they want. But grassroots can overcome the money. And that's what we hope to do. One of the biggest things I wish to also share with everybody out there is that in Winchendon we have a very special place called Lake Denison State Park. And it is proposed that this pipeline is going to come through that state park. It is a jewel, and we know that there are thousands of people who come to this place every single year to hike, to bike, to canoe, and to camp, and to fish. The resources there are absolutely phenomenal. There's also a pre-revolutionary burial ground over there. There's also the King Philip Rock for our Native American heritage that could be disrupted, and that is really something that I want everybody to know about as well. There are some newly found Native American sacred sites, burial sites that are being reviewed right now and possibly will be put forward to the Federal Registry of Native Americans. And it's really important that we foster that and steward that project to protect that, because so much of the Native American heritage in the New England area was lost because of being the first area. But they're being found, and hopefully we'll be able to save those as well.
Well, another item is we've been working, basically full-time around our house here. We have the farm that we maintain. My wife and I both work full-time jobs. And this topic of this pipeline is just so important to us that we found that we just have to put the effort in to try to fight this thing. It's killing us. I mean, this has been some of the most depressing year probably that we've ever had around here, having to fight this thing since February to realize somebody's going to, take a substantial amount of property away from us. We figured it could be anywhere 3 or 4 acres total land that goes through my sister's and other family members' land, that we own a fairly large parcel here, and it's basically going to bisect the entire property. And we've all been putting in effort trying to fight this thing.
Hours and hours of research and also organizing, getting people together. Also communicating with our potential elected officials that are right now running for state offices, and also contacting our representatives in Washington. It's nice to know that some of our elected officials are accessible and are working with us. It's those ones that will not take a stand and make a decision about what is right for our state and our local communities that frustrate us. And really, I think next Tuesday in the primaries, or this coming Tuesday in the primaries, there are going to be some surprises. It's really important, though. I mean, it's hard to balance a full-time job and 3 teenage kids and also make time for this. But it really is important, and even if it's just a couple of hours that I can devote a week, it will make a difference.
Yeah, it's just hard to allow a major corporation to just steamroll right over you. We have no intentions of letting that happen. If we can fight it, we will, and we'll put our best foot forward to do it.